Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, this is a game that I created to help students um, find the inverse of functions. Because in order to find the inverse of functions, you need to be able to look at the original function and know what's going first, what operation is going first, and then you also have to know what's the inverse of that operation. So, what I have in front of me is I have my iPad with a book, and what I do is I just spin it, and when I spin it, it's going to land on some operation, and I need to be able to tell me what the inverse is or the opposite is. In some cases, you'll have a bunch of operations, and you need to be able to tell me using PEMDAS what goes first, second, third, fourth, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to just jump through, and I'm going to do a couple of these, and hopefully by the end of the video, um, this will make more sense, and you'll be more comfortable knowing what the inverses are and also how to find the order that those should happen. All right, so let me jump in. All right, so this is log of x base 12. So if I was trying to find the inverse of that, I would do 12 to the x power. That's the inverse of that. So if we did these two functions and we graph the composite, it would give us y equals x if that's the answer. All right, let's go to another one. I want to do one that actually has, all right, so here. Um, what I have here is I have a function. I'm taking the fourth root of 3x minus 2 plus 6. So what I'm going to do is the very first thing I do when I'm trying to find the inverse is I need to go and kind of indicate what's happening first. So, and we're looking at this from the perspective of x. So I'm going to make this blue. So the very first thing that's happening to x is we're multiplying it by 3 right here. All right. Second thing that we're doing to x is we're subtracting 2. So I'm saying subtracting 2. Now, the next thing that we're doing is we're taking the fourth root. So it would be the fourth root. And then the last thing that we're doing is we're adding 6. Okay. Now, if we wanted to find the inverse, we would, first of all, we're going to reverse the order. And we're just going to find the inverses, and we're going to do it in that order. So the opposite of adding 6, or the inverse of adding 6, is subtracting 6. The inverse of taking the fourth root is raising something to the fourth power. I'm just going to say to the fourth power. The inverse of minus 2 is plus 2. The inverse of times 3 is divided by 3. So if I were trying to do this, I would basically just go boom, 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 boom. I would start with x. I would subtract 6, done. I would raise that to the fourth power, done. I would add 2, done. And then I would divide the whole thing by 3, done. So that would be the inverse of this function. Now, I've actually graphed this. Let me see if I can get this to come up. Hold on. So I did this on Desmos. So here, all right. Oops, that doesn't look too good. I'm gonna clear the ink. All right, so if you look at this, I took this was the original function, and then I took the inverse of that function, and notice that when you graph it, it does give you the y equals x line. Um, so I said x minus 6 to the fourth power plus 2 divided by 3. That's what I had. I'm going to go backwards because I want to put all this back. So basically, I just verified that that is a function. All right, I'm going to do one more like that. Let me see what we got here. All right, here. So um, I've got the function 5 times the log of x squared minus 4 with a base of 3. So first thing I need to do is PEMDAS. The very first thing that's being done to the x, let me change the color. I like to change it, is that I'm squaring it. All right. And then I'm subtracting 4. And then I'm taking the log with a base 3. And then I multiply it times 5. All right. So if I want to find the inverse, I'm just going to reverse the order. And I'm just going to take the inverse. So the inverse of times multiplying times 5 is dividing by 5. And then the inverse of log base 3 is 3 with the base of 3, raise it to the x power. And then the inverse of minus 4 is adding 4. The inverse of squaring something is taking the square root of something. Okay, so again, I'm going to make this blue. So the inverse function, I'm starting with x. First thing I'm going to do is divide by 5. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that to the third power. I'm going to raise it. I'm going to make that the exponent, and the base is going to be 3. And then I'm going to subtract 4 from that. And then I'm going to take the square root of that whole thing. So I got 3. I take the square root of 3 and I raise with a base of 3, x, the exponent is x divided by 5 minus 4. Now, let me get rid of that. So before this video started, I went out to Delta Math or Desmos, and I actually took the inverses. And as you can see, when I took the composite, it creates the y equals x line. So that means when you get the y equals x line, that means that you have in fact found the inverse. So I know that this is the right answer. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, but before I do that, let me undo all of this so I don't lose it. Go back. Okay, go all the way back to the beginning. Boom, done. All right, so remember, the best thing to do here is, first of all, use PEMDAS, and you always start with the thing that's closest to the x, what's being done first. This one we're squaring, and then minus 4, but since this is in parentheses, we're doing this part first. And then we're going to take the log with the base 3, and then we multiply it times 5. That's the order. And then we're going to do the inverse of those things. And we reverse the order, and then we've got the inverse of that function. It's not that bad. Once you get a little bit of practice, it's not that bad. I hope this video has been helpful. If it hasn't, leave me a comment. All right, I'm gonna sign off, and hopefully I'll see you soon.